Hey Lash sis, I'm T the Brand, Lash Marketing Mentor. I teach lash artists to make content easy, marketing simple, and keep clients coming back. Welcome to my channel. So to wrap up this week's videos, I have another question that came from a recent Instagram live. And this question was, what will you tell your old self about starting a lash business? This question really made me slow down and think. I mean, of course I answered it in the moment on live, but after that it lingered a little bit and I really stopped to think what did 2022 me need to hear? I mean, 2020 me need to hear when I was getting ready to start my lash business. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I wrote down that I wish I would have known back then. Before we get started, I want you to go ahead and grab your notebook. I have my notebook with my notes. And the reason we're doing this year with the notebooks is because we don't need to just be intentional. Intention can go as far in as you want it to go. It can be as simple as, okay, I intend to record 4 videos today. And then because life happens or you find another priority over making the videos, what you intended to do didn't get you anything. We want to be strategic. And so writing the things down that you are hearing that makes you feel like, okay, I need to use that, or, oh, that was for me. This makes a lot of sense. Write it down so that you don't forget it. Write it down so that you can go back to it, brainstorm on it, expand it, or take things away from it and make it yours and make it work for your business. Okay, so that was enough time for you to grab your notebook. It's time to get to it. All right, so the first thing that I would tell little beginner T the Brand is to pace myself with kindness. When I first took my lash training, I did not have an expectation for lashing to become my career. I am a licensed master social worker, or LMSW, and my dream was to open a private practice to service the Black community. Black community and culture is still evolving on the mental health topic, or the mental health reality, and I wanted to be able to be a voice and be an asset to our community with a private practice. With a private practice that I owned, where we had nothing but Black therapists on the roster to help the Black community. So that was my goal. Never was it ever to be a lash artist or to have a lash career. And the way that it came about, I lost my job as a middle school social worker in April of 2020. And thank God my contract was not up until August. And so I was paid over the summertime, and I was looking for jobs, and the jobs that I would get offers for, they were paying an extremely low amount of money. And I'm like, absolutely not, with 2 degrees in this professional license and these student loans that need to be paid off. I was not feeling the be overworked and underpaid, so I decided to be overworked and underpaid as an entrepreneur. No, I'm joking, but that is what happened. And so when I took my training, this was never supposed to be a thing. It was supposed to be a little side hustle for me to make some coins while I was waiting on my next social work job to come through. And once I started seeing that I wasn't terrible, looking back, baby, those lashes were pure trash. The application, the way that they looked, everything. And I'm so thankful that people let me practice on them and even paid me to do it. But once I learned, okay, this isn't horrible, I like this, and I went to school, I soared through school, okay? I turned 3 months of assignments into 1 month. I enrolled in school in October. Those assignments were done in December. And I had all this time to still collect my hours. And so I was only going into school on Mondays for my theory classes. And then I was going to my suite after I moved my business out of the living room of my 1-bedroom apartment. I was going to my suite to lash clients. And I just wish that I would have known that it was okay to slow down with my decisions. I wish that I would have known that it was okay to keep lashing from my 1-bedroom apartment and not jump into a suite space because somebody said that I should. I'm very grateful that I had a cousin who owned a suite. She had this huge suite, and inside the suite was a room that she had already set up because she used to do massages. And so she's like, you can have this. You don't have to pay me anything until money starts really rolling in for you. And while I am very grateful for that experience, and I was grateful to not have strangers coming into my home, I do wish that I would have slow tracked it a little bit moment because I got real ambitious, honey. And shortly after I was in my cousin's suite, I got my own suite. And while I'm proud that I was able to do that, I was not proud that I had to let that suite go maybe like 6 to 8 months later because I did not have the clientele to sustain the suite. If you do not have the clientele to cover the suite rent and to cover your business bills, meaning suite rent, your booking site, any additional sites that you have that you pay for, subscriptions that you pay for, like business insurance. If you can't cover the tools and supplies that you need, do not get suite. Do not get the suite. Keep that money in-house and invest it back into your business in a better way. So I wish that I would have known that it was okay for me to pace myself. I wish that I would have known, or I would tell beginner me that you're not going to get rich quick off of this, because I was seeing lash artists posting how full sets were only taking them an hour and 45 minutes and they were charging X amount of dollars, and I was charging crumbs on a dollar, and it just made me feel like I wasn't good enough because my full sets, they were still taking me 3.5 to 4 hours after about a year. I wish I would have known that it was okay to slow down and just travel the journey, because what was for me was for me. So moving on, I wish I would have known to stay ambitious, because like I said, I was very ambitious in the beginning, but after the reality set in that, okay, this is hard. This isn't bringing me a return as quick as I thought it would. My retention is still trash after a year. I wish I would have known that those things too were a part of the process, so that I wouldn't get discouraged so soon within my lash business. I get DMs and comments here on YouTube from lash artists all the time, just talking about how discouraged they are and how they want to quit, but they really want to keep going, but there are no clients. Like, keep your heart. Keep your heart. Keep your heart in regard to the love for becoming a lash artist and really building a lash business. Keep your heart for believing in yourself and believing in what you can create through your lash business. A lash business can absolutely sustain your life, and you don't have to be a trainer, own a product line, and all of these big fancy things that people make you feel like being a lash artist alone isn't enough income for. You can absolutely build a sustainable life off of your lash income. So stay rooted, stay ambitious. Things that have helped me to do this is to, like I said, writing the things out. I write out everything. When I'm afraid to do something, like my first Instagram live, it was on August 9th, 2021. I was so scared to do that, but I still have the notes from it in another notebook. I wrote those things out to help me feel more comfortable, more confident. I keep scriptures everywhere. On my strategy board right here, on my whiteboard over there, in my planner that's not in here, I have Luke 1:37 on there, because that's what I need in this season to keep believing. And that scripture is, "For with God, nothing is impossible." And that's just something that I need to constantly stay reminded of. So write the things down that will help you to stay reminded and to help you keep going. Okay, so the ambition, to stay ambitious, that was number 2. The third thing that I wish I would have known was master the basics. If I could go tell 2020 Tiara to keep mastering the basics of lash extensions, she probably would have had better retention, better looking sets way sooner than she did. And here is why. A lot of lash artists, myself included, want to skip past the classics. Like, there's nothing spicy and exciting and bold about classic lashes, but there are so many things that are fundamental and foundational and clean about classic lashes. Making sure that you know how to attach that base of the lash extension to the natural lash and some of the stems, so that when you go to brush them, they don't pop off. And knowing how to properly isolate. It is so easy to hide bad work with volume lashes, because you can just make the fans as big as you want them, and it's all covering up. If you were listening to this podcast and you can't see the visual, excuse me, that was hilarious. But they're all covering up the basis of the work, so you can't see it, clients can't see it. And when they come back, you get to make an excuse when you see as you're removing lashes, oh, this lash wasn't applied right. They couldn't tell, they didn't complain, so it must be fine. Classic lashes do not let you do that. Those things are gonna pop off. So I wish that I would have known that it was okay to really master the basics before moving into other types of lashes. And I remember when I first started lashing, before I went to lash school, I was like, I am never doing mega volume. Those things are way too long. They're way too heavy. That will break your lashes off, because that's what I was told in my training. And that just was not true. There were still things that I had to learn. But once I started realizing, okay, people don't want to book classic lashes. And not saying that nobody wants classic lashes, but at the time, people weren't looking for classic lashes from a lash artist. They were looking for the dramatic volume and mega volume lashes. And so I decided, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. And then I started doing that. Now, were all of my sets like that? Absolutely not. Absolutely never. Absolutely never. She's always been versatile, but that versatility wasn't, the quality of the work wasn't great, but the versatility was there. So I wish I would have known that it was okay for me to master one thing at a time. I also wish I would have known to start marketing earlier and to master marketing earlier. I wish I would have known what a target audience was and why it was really important. And thinking back, I can't say that I would have taken heed to my advice in the beginning. And this is helping me right now in real time really kind of understand better the beginner lash artist and why she spins her wheels and why she will go so long without investing in help for the things that she doesn't know, because I felt like I could learn it all. I felt like I could get it all by myself. All of these different, lash artists that I followed and looked up to on Instagram, and it was very few because I didn't know that there was a lash world. Pause. I wish I would have known there was a lash world out here. I'm gonna circle back and come back to that. And so I just wish that I would have known. And once I did learn about target audience, I took it very seriously, because I'm like, oh, that's why my content isn't landing. Now, the person that I learned it from, I invested in a mentorship. She was able to give me good information, but she wasn't able to help me actually apply that information. And that made a huge difference. And once I struggled to learn how to apply this information and make it work for my business, immediately I started educating other lash artists, because there's no need for us to be struggling out here like this. So I wish I would have known the basics of marketing and mastered that too before. I can't say before a certain time, but I just wish I would have known that that was going to be really important for me to build my lash business and career. Okay, moving on. Okay, the next one, number 4, was stay home. I wish I would have known to stay home. And I kind of talked about this in the beginning when I talked about being ambitious about my suite. I would have saved a lot in overhead. I would have saved some disappointment. However, I would not have had the experience of being outside of my house. And I don't know if I would have, been 100% comfortable moving into the next phase of my career, which was working at a spa. I'm going to have to do another video on working in spaces, spas and suites and things of under other people. But just to reiterate, since I wrote it down, I would have stayed home. I would have kept lashing from the living room of that 1-bedroom apartment for as long as I could, because it just would have made more sense to do. I wish that I would have started networking earlier. However, I didn't know that that was a thing that needed to be done. Here in Dallas, all I knew was, okay, you take your lash training. I didn't even know at the time that it was illegal to do lashes in Texas without a license. And so once I learned that from my esthetician, I enrolled in school, and all I knew was do lashes in your respective space. I did not know that there was a bigger lash world. I didn't know that conferences like the Lash Conference and Lash Boss Summit existed. And I didn't know that there were companies out here that offered mentorship or offered classes on how to do things with lash. Like, I did not know that there were so many lash artists around the world who I would be able to connect with and build relationship with and be able to build friendships with and working relationships with, learn things from. And I had no clue. And I wish that I would have known that sooner. I didn't know that the lash world was a thing until 2022. At that point, I had already been lashing for almost 2 years. And to just think, if I would have known sooner, I can't imagine the help I would have had and the growth that I would have had, the awareness of marketing and the awareness of how mastering the basics of lashes would have really helped me. And so I would definitely say that's something that I wish I would have done sooner. Once I had community in the lash industry, it changed a lot of things for me. It helped my confidence because it helped me to know, okay, I'm not the only one out here thinking that I'm slow with my time and thinking that I suck with my, sets or whatever I was experiencing at that time. There were people with the same dreams that I had or dreams that aligned that I could walk alongside. And so I encourage lash artists all the time, baby, get in the room, stay in the room. And one of the videos that I shared last week, I believe it was for lash business success. In 2026, one of the pieces of advice that I gave was to stay in the room. That means be present at conferences, at networking events, and they don't have to be just lash or beauty conferences. Like, go out and meet people, learn new things so that you can bring them back to your business and continue to help it flourish. Get in the room, okay? And if you're looking for a conference, some that I want to recommend, the first one that I want to recommend is Lash Boss Summit. Lash Boss Summit is going down April 23rd through the 26th, I believe, but the official dates are the 24th through the 26th. There's a lash battle. There are amazing educators who will be coming to speak. There are awesome vendors who will be there with all kinds of goodies, apparel, tools, and supplies that you can use that you may like. There are social events and networking events at the conference for us to, first of all, take a load off and celebrate the hard work that we're doing in our businesses, but also connect with other people. Again, this is in Austin, Texas. You want to go ahead and grab your ticket to Lash Boss Summit. This will be my second year attending. I attended in 2025 as a first-time attendee, and I was also an educator in 2025, and I'm so excited that I will be returning to educate again this year. So, network, that is what I would tell beginner lash artist T the brand. Get in the room. And I would also tell her to believe big. I had no idea that my lash career could be so fruitful and fulfilling. I didn't know that, like I said, lash conferences exist. So the thought of being a lash educator never crossed my mind beyond doing lash trainings, because I know that's a thing. I took a training. People have flyers everywhere all over the internet. But to be able to dream bigger, that happened when the bigger world was unlocked for me. And like I said, I have reminders of my scriptures on my boards, in my planners. I make sure that the community that I have outside of my lash community, I make sure that the community that I have actually feeds me. They don't make me doubt myself. They don't do anything but help me only believe. And so I would tell her to believe big. I'm telling me now to still believe big, because the success that I've seen, I don't believe it has anything on what's to come in the future. So I'm really excited. And yeah, y'all. So those are how many, 6, 7 things that I would definitely tell myself as a beginner lash artist. I think that those things would have helped me be kinder to myself throughout my lash career building process. I think I could have made some more strategic decisions or calculated decisions, because the more you know, the more you know. So that's really that on that. I hope that something in here encourages you, whether you're a seasoned lash artist or a beginner lash artist. I hope that it helps to make your lash journey a little bit easier. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section. Like and subscribe to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you turn on the bell notification button. That way, you know every time I drop some new gems to help make your lash journey easier. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed sharing a little piece of my heart and my history with the lash industry and how I've built my career. And I will see y'all in the next one.